to call the fucking rules. The people in the debate don't tell the moderator what you giving them. I'm giving you the time. I'm just trying to make it a way. I'm trying to see if God feel cool with that. If he's not cool with that, we got to stay within the realm of the debate. Exactly. And mostly all the debates are goddamn 10 minutes. You getting 3 rounds. That's to show you how fucked up they are, because I said, all right, I'll give you 2 rounds of 15 minutes. He said, yes. But if I say I'm going to give you 3 rounds of 10 minutes, it's the same goddamn thing. Am I right or wrong, Garfield?
You're right. You're right.
It's the same thing to show you how fucked up they are. Shout out to you, Mental Son. You already know I got that work on. Shout out to Mental Son in the chat. Yeah, so, I mean, I think they were scared anyway, especially when I said be careful what you ask for. He was scared anyway. So, Garfield, it's on you, man. You can go ahead and just teach, brother.
Yeah, all right. First of all, let me just say this. There's nobody who can be an ancient Israelite in the sense of what we see it today. Nobody was following the laws and the commandments the way that we see it today. There's nobody following Moses' law 100%. There's none of that. So what I'm going to do today is show you who the Jews are in real life, as far as who might be a descendant of these people. I'm not even going to use no DNA today. I'm going to take DNA out. I'm going to take linguistics out. I'm going to just use history and what archaeology says. Whenever anyone claims that they are West African and they are Jews in West Africa, ask them where were these Jews at 300 or 400 or 200 AD. And this is the problem. We need to know who these people are. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask Sarnetta just to he could argue Black Jesus and whatever when they want, but I'm gonna just get into the Babylonian Jews for a second. So if Brother Sarnetta could put that on the screen for me real quick, brother. Sarnetta, my Black Jesus minister boy, Sarnetta. So Aneta, put that on the screen for me, please, and just make it full screen so I could just teach the people. All right. So this is the Babylonian Jews, right? We're going to talk about the Babylonian Jews. All right. This is a book called Iraq's Last Jews. For those who don't know, Babylon is what we call Iraq today. Let me say it again. Babylon is what we call Iraq today. All right. Now, this book says the American Sephardi Federation is proud to sponsor the publication of this important book, a historic series of first-hand recollections from some of the last members of the now vanished Babylonian Jewish community in Iraq. The oldest, listen to this carefully, the oldest and longest ever continuous community in the Jewish diaspora. The Babylonian Jewish diaspora was instrumental through the writing of the Babylonian Talmud in the development of Judaism as we know it today. Given all the important contributions of the Iraqi Jews throughout history, it is remarkable that the community is not even mentioned in conjunction with the remaking of Iraq today. These facts have not received the attention they deserve in the Jewish and general media. This book, together with the efforts of the ASF, is an attempt to rectify this. All right, watch this right here. Iraq, as it is called today, was the home of the ancient civilizations of Sumer, Assyria, and Babylon. It was known by the Greeks as Mesopotamia, meaning the land between 2 rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates, and by the Jews as Babylonia. In 597 BC, and by the way, Nebuchadnezzar took a bunch of people. I'm not even going to read all of that, make this boring. But this is the important part that I want you guys to see. Listen to me carefully, right? And my book is on Amazon, by the way. Those misconceptions and misinformation by the Black Hebrew Israelites. I want everybody to pay attention to that right now, all right? If you want to get it on Amazon. This is all in the book. Watch this. Over its 2,500 years of existence, listen to this carefully. 2,500 years. That means a group of people stayed in an area for almost 2,500 years. That means from the Babylonian so-called captivity up until now. Family, you can't go. This is a community that says, hey, we were the people that descend from these people in Babylon, who Nebuchadnezzar played a role, ladies and gentlemen, in giving them income producing land. Simple as that. Shout out to Amin-Ra McCarthy, who don't like Garfield, and he's right. You know, if God is with you, you don't need 15 minutes to put Garfield in his place. You just need 2-3 minutes. But everybody want to make their own rules. I need this, I need that to beat up Garfield. And not one Hebrew Israelite has been able to step up and say, hey, I didn't even want to debate the brother. I'm just doing it for the strength of my brother, Sarnetta. This guy can't debate me. I know he can't. But it's all fun. And I love debating because it's fun and it's a hobby. All right. But anyway, now over 2,500 years of existence, this Iraqi Jewish community formed a homogeneous group and was able to maintain communal identity, culture, and traditions throughout the centuries. All despite multiple conquests and political upheaval, war, and plagues. They were distinguished from their Iraqi brethren by their old Arabic dialect, Judeo-Arabic, which is replete with biblical Hebrew, biblical references, and words from Persian, Turkish, and Aramaic. They were set apart by their dress, their observations of Shabbat, holy days, and kashrut, their unique cuisine, and among many other things, a deep yearning for their spiritual Jerusalem and Zion. They purchased land and established yeshiva, religious houses of study in Jerusalem and Hebron. Their social and religious life was based upon Talmudic and biblical rites, and they led an independent communal life headed by the chief rabbi, who oversaw the community's educational system, religious court, and tax imposed upon culture. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this to you right now. These people were Judeans. If you want to say they're the tribe of Judah, you want to say they're Jews, you can't. These are real people. Now, let me go to my book right here, Misconceptions and Misinformation. The book that the Hebrews are scared to try to deal with the information. They want to say, oh, this is that, this and that about the book. There was a town, ladies and gentlemen. They don't want to tell you. There's a town in Babylon called Al-Yahudu, called Judah Town. What happened in Judah Town, Garfield? It teaches us. They had over 200 tablets, ladies and gentlemen. 200 tablets. And those 200 tablets were the Judeans writing. These are the Jews. Don't listen to these guys on the corner or none of these guys claiming Jews today. They don't descend from these people. The people that descend from them went back to Israel in Operation Nehemiah and Ezra. They're going to say, oh, they're the fake Jews. But they descend from these people that started Judah Town during the time of Nebuchadnezzar. These are the real people that descend from, if you want to call them Israelites or Jews or Judeans or tribe of Judah, whatever you want to call them. It teaches us that we weren't slaves like we were slaves to the Pharaoh. It teaches us that we were simply free people in Babylon, living not only in Al-Yahudu, but also in a dozen other cities where Jews either lived or did business. But ladies and gentlemen, what did these Jews do when they were there? They weren't slaves. The Al-Yahuda tablets dated to the 6th and 5th centuries are a collection of about 200 clay tablets. I'm not going to listen to Zion Lex. I'm not listening to Divine Prospect. I'm not even going to listen to my bro, Tazaria. I'm going to listen to the Jews that lived in that time period. They're the ones I care about. I don't care about these dudes. They are the real people that can attach themselves to them. So the Al-Yahuda tablets, ladies and gentlemen, are 200 clay tablets on the exiled Judeans living in Babylon. Ladies and gentlemen, are these guys connecting themselves to anybody from Babylon? Look at this. The tablets are named after the central settlement mentioned in the documents, Al-Yahuda, which means Judah Town. Judah Town, Garfield? Okay. The new documents provided us for the first time with insights into the social and economic life of Judeans in their own Babylonian community and their relationships. These are the names of the towns from the primary documents from the Jews, the real Jews family, the real Israelites, the real Judeans, not these guys that's here today, the invented Jews. These guys are not connected to none of these groups in West Africa. So that's done with and mashed up. Ladies and gentlemen, look at it. These are the name of the places on the tablets. Judah town, all these towns. And I want y'all to remember this carefully. The Al Yahuda tablets relates to activities of those who remained in Babylonia to the land and built houses by virtue of their status as settlers on royal land. But ladies and gentlemen, what's important in all of this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is that these people, we have evidence because the tablets date from 572 BC and the latest one to 477 BC, 200 tablets, and we only have 2 examples of folks talking about returning to Judah. Only 2, ladies and gentlemen, 2 on all the people. Only 2 people said they wasn't going to go back there. They didn't want to go back. Judeans seem to be comfortable and even in some cases own slaves themselves. Judeans were royal merchants. Judeans were what? Royal merchants. We see this with the members of the Ari family. We playing games, family. This is the truth. You are not connected to these people. Now watch this. More Jews lived outside of Palestine during the Second Temple period than within Palestine. There was no mass Roman exodus of Jews from Palestine as a result of the Romans. There was a loss of political sovereignty. Political sovereignty around the 1st century AD. An estimated 5 million Jews lived outside Palestine. Here, let me say that again. About 5 million Jews lived outside Palestine. Where did they live, Garfield? The majority of them lived in Mesopotamia. They stem from these towns. Look at these towns. Remember the 13 towns? Let's go. And to the brother that said Garfield has never debated a Hebrew, I debated Guerrilla Hebrew and destroyed him. It was on pay-per-view and Sarnetta put it on here. I've debated other guys and I've beat them up publicly. So what are you talking about? Come on, brother. Stop being biased. All right. All right. So we deal with the Palestinians and living. All right. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the source for that is Encyclopedia Britannica. As you see on the pages, you'll see the sources. Now, there's a book called Divines Intertwined, a history of Jews and Christians, the Babylonian exile to the advent of Islam. What I want to point out to people is the Jews of Babylon were merchants and bankers. Now, look at this. Apart from the visitations of Ezra and Nehemiah, we have very little evidence for the growing Jewish community scattered around the Persian Empire. One source, however, allows us to extrapolate the growth of the Jews, namely the Morashu archive. The archive, you see, archaeology kills the Jewish paradigm that they have in North America. Look at these Jews, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. Tell Hebrews in the hood I'm ready right now. Tell them to come right now. Let's go. Anyway, one source, however, allows us to extrapolate the growth of the Jews, namely the Morashu archive. The archive consists of more than 800 cuneiform tablets or fragments. Look at this, family. That preserve financial records of what may be called an ancient banking firm of the Morashu family. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what these people were doing? Do you know what they were doing, family? Do you know what they were doing? They were lending money to Babylon, lending money to who? Persia. They were bankers. Ladies and gentlemen, they were bankers. Now show me. And I want y'all to remember this. Remember I said the 13 communities established in Babylon and they've been there for 2,500 years? 2,500 years. Go back to this book right here. And then we talk about them being bankers. Woo! And look at this. It says from the details of their transactions, we learn that Jews lived in about 30 villages. So remember, there were 13 towns. Now they're in 30 villages. They are expanding as a people. This is primary research. This is scholarship. Now look at this. Remember when the first exile happened? This is the Assyrian Empire. This is where the Jews went. Selector Blazing, the source is the Morasha archives. Why don't you listen instead of trying to be funny? This is another problem with our people. We don't know how to listen. The source is the red book that we talk about, which is the Al Yehuda tablets, which the Jews wrote themselves. Then we have the Morasha banking files showing that the Jews did it. Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, remember we had 13. Let me go back to this again. Remember the Al Yehuda tablets during Nebuchadnezzar time said they had 13 different towns, right? Now this book, which is quoting the Morasha archives, said they had Jews lived in about 30 villages around the ancient Babylonian city of Nippur. Okay, you know, if you know about Nippur, that's where banking started. So the Jews may have learned banking from those Babylonians, the Icgjc family and so forth. When the Assyrians invaded Israel, they took the Jews that they took to the cities in Assyria, which became Babylon, because here's Babylon. This is Babylon Empire right now. Now look at this. Remember when they set up, I did say Al Yehuda tablets. That's a primary. I did say that, beloved. Okay? Just for the record, I did say that. And I did say the Morasha archives. Those are primary sources. The books are just quoting the primary sources. That's all I did with my book. All right? Now watch this now. What happened to the Jews now? Remember, they started something called the Talmudic academies. Talmudic academies, ladies and gentlemen. Talmudic academies. Big time, ladies and gentlemen. Talmudic academies. Remember that. Where did they start the Talmudic academies? In Neherdia, in Pombeditia, in Surah. These are the descendants of the real Judeans. Not these guys you see in North America. Not these guys. This is the rabbinical errors, right? So you have the rabbinical errors talk about the Zugat, the Chazal, whatever, right? Watch this. Remember the Pharisees in the Bible who are real culture of Jews? The Pharisees, ladies and gentlemen, you know what the Pharisees did? The Pharisees started rabbinical Judaism. Look at the source at the bottom from Encyclopedia Britannica. Watch this. Watch this. The Pharisees, pay attention, Hebrew Israelites. Stop listening to these camp guys and all these guys who say they know the Bible. I know history. I didn't say Morasha tablets. I said Morasha archives. Watch this. The Pharisees in Jesus' time, after the temple fell, they became what's called, started rabbinical Judaism. So when they say this is white, quote unquote, white Judaism, that means they're saying that the Jews in the first century were white. This is what they're saying, because these are the people that started rabbinical Judaism. Again, freeze this, screenshot it from Encyclopedia Britannica. Let me move on. Let me move on. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Following the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans in 70 CE, waves of exiled Jews. Watch this. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Waves of exiled Jews. Are we going to do this right? We're going to do this right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do this right. Waves of exiled Jews traveled west and were assimilated among other tribes and nations. The Babylonian Jews and those who migrated east from Eretz Israel, ask them what Eretz Israel is, became the keepers of the Bible. So they left from Jerusalem. Watch it. Ladies and gentlemen, watch it, man. Garfield teaching today. They left from Israel and went to Babylon. That's where they established the new Jerusalem, in Babylon. Because remember what I said earlier. I said they moved after Nebuchadnezzar, 13 towns. Then I showed you where they had 30 villages. Then now I'm telling you what they're establishing inside of Babylon after the temple was destroyed. They didn't go to no North Africa and end up in West. They didn't go to no West Africa as is taught by people today. It is not true. We got to be honest with ourselves. Now watch this, family. The Babylonian Jews who migrated east from Eretz Israel became the keepers of the Bible. Jewish culture flourished in Babylonia during the Persian regime. Jewish scholars compiled then the Babylonian Talmud starting in 474 AD as the spiritual codex of Judaism. It wasn't the white Jews, ladies and gentlemen. According to these black Jews today, they said it's the Pharisees. The Pharisees are the ones that started rabbinical Judaism. So that means if they were black, the people who started rabbinical Judaism was black, according to these Jews. Come on! Transforming Judaism into a spiritual and moral movement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why when they say the Jews in West Africa are the real Jews or not, they can't be, because they are following a converted religion that started in the AD period. Oh, I apologize. It started in the late BC period, and we're going to get into that in a minute. Watch this. Watch this. Jewish scholars compiled the Babylonian Talmud starting in 474 as the spiritual codex of Judaism, transforming Judaism into a spiritual and moral movement. Now look at this. Starting in the year 219. Woo, hold on, Garfield. 219? You mean 219 AD or the Common Era, Garfield? The academies of Surah and Nehardia were founded in Babylon. Remember I showed it? Surah and Nehardia started in 219 AD. What happened in 219 AD, ladies and gentlemen? Why is this important? Because remember, you had the 70 AD war, you had the 115 AD Kittus war, then you had the what? The 135 Bar Kokhba revolt, where Jews could not be in Jerusalem anymore. So Jews couldn't be in Jerusalem. The Romans kicked them out, banned them, so they started building synagogues in Judea. If the Jews fled, all of them fled and went to West Africa, how are they building synagogues in Judea at the time, 200 AD, Rabbi Hanasi? Come on, sources. Source up, Garfield. Starting in the year 290, the academies of Surah and Nehardia were founded in Babylon. The heads of these academies were referred to later on as Gaons and were considered the highest authorities on religious matters in the Jewish world. Whoa! So you're saying, Garfield, that these Gaons were considered the highest authorities on religious matters in the Jewish world. Ladies and gentlemen, conversation's over. So these Gaons, they don't want to talk about them. Were they black? Were they white? What were they? Guess what they said what color they were? They said they were boxwood. They said they didn't look nothing like the Ethiopians and they didn't look nothing like the Germans. They were in between. That's what they said. That's what they said. Not Garfield. Now watch this. Now this is important, family. We're going to skip from 219 AD to when Muhammad was born with Islam. In 570, Muhammad was born in Mecca. So now you have Islam. What were the Jews going to do? Jews were active in commerce and industry. If you notice something about the Jews today, they're always active in commerce. The trans-Saharan slave trade, Jews are financing it. The transatlantic slave trade, Jews are there. The Hanseatic League, Jews are there. Any form of trade, Jews are there. But they don't look nothing like us. Why is that? But we call them the fake Jews. But look at this right here. Jews were shortly thereafter, Muslim armies conquered the regional armies and defeated the Persian Empire. The building of Baghdad during the Caliphate of Al-Mansur in 762 established the most important center of culture, commerce, science, and arts in the Western world. The Jews settled there. How is it the Jews are able to settle there? You know why? Because one, they could be translators. They could read and translate different languages. They were great at that. They also were rich and they were also into commerce. The Jews settled there, built new yeshivas and attained important status, especially the Jewish exilarch, who was widely, ladies and gentlemen, stop. I want you to hear this clearly because these guys, they lie. They want to keep this from you. The Jews settled there, built new yeshivas, and attained important status, especially the Jewish exilarch. Who is the Jewish exilarch? he was widely recognized as a descendant of King David and was the faith's highest authority. That means he was in charge of the Jews in the entire diaspora of the entire earth. He was in charge of all the Jews' affairs. Show me this Icgjc attached to Jews in West Africa. Show me. The Icgjc administered Jewish affairs for the community, deciding disputes and collecting taxes, and could impose bans, fines, and all that stuff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to bore you. I just want to deal with the facts, because that's all we come in with, the facts. I'm like my brother Lord Abba today. All right. The Icgjc administered Jewish affairs for the community, deciding disputes and collecting taxes, and could impose bans, fines, imprisonment, or flogging for punishment on religious matters. So now we know, ladies and gentlemen, who was in charge of all the Jews worldwide. After the destruction of the Baghdad by the Mongols in 1258, centuries of chaos, as late as the beginning of the 16th century, the conflicts between the Sunnis and the Safavids of Persia, in addition to repeated plagues, floods, and Bedouin invasions, devastated Iraq. Baghdad was diminished to the point that it became a marginal settlement of no political or commercial importance. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you some pictures of the Jews that continue to live in Babylon and what they look like. The Jews appointed a Nazi as their head following the end of the institution of the Icgjc. Ladies and gentlemen, let me go about Deuteronomy 28. Oh, the Icgjc. You know what, bro? I'm gonna have to do a whole thing on the Icgjc. That's a whole nother point. All right. But let me talk about Deuteronomy 28 for a second. And this is just based off the English version. Remember, in Deuteronomy 28, right? You have blessings and you have curses. How comes you have never heard any person in the Hebrew Israelite movement talk about the blessings? They always talk about the curses. All they talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is we got cursed, the curses fit us. So you're telling me for over 2,700 years, you have never gotten any blessings? I want to show you a blessing right now in the Bible. Watch this. Deuteronomy 28 verses 12. I want you to pay attention. Well, call in Selector Blazing and I'll give you the sources. Deuteronomy 28:12. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure. Watch this. Watch this. The heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when in the history of the Jews have they lent money unto many nations? Garfield. Remember what I just read? Right here. Vines Intertwined, the Marasha Archives. They are lending money to Babylon and other cultures. They have something that's called an ancient banking firm. They're lending money to the Persians. They're lending money to the Babylonians. They even have a primary where Nebuchadnezzar is paying 12%. It's in my book. 12%. He's paying the Jews for lending him money. This is why he wanted Jews in his country to help build it up. He gave them land. You got to go to the Al Yahuda tablets. He gave them land, income producing land, family. Shout out to Sister Cynthia. Peace and love to you, Queen. So let me go back to Deuteronomy 28:12. So this Marasha Archives fit this. So this is showing you again that these people, whether they wrote it after or before or whatever, it fits them. It fits the Babylonian Jews. And why the Babylonian Jews is important, because remember, when the Jews were exiled by the Assyrians.
Real quick, Garfield, please do not block my wife, man. Cynthia, y'all blocked her before.
No,
do
man.
not block my wife, Cynthia. All right.
I ain't got nothing to do with that, bro. All right. So now Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 some more, right? I want y'all to look at this verse that they love so much. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Okay, so the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt. So into, I think into is a preposition. Y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't been to school in years. Or a conjunction or whatever. All right? Into Egypt. So we're going into Egypt. They said it's bondage. Am I correct? Bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, watch this. Ships, comma, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see no more again. So hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen. What is it that you shall not see again? Here it is right here. Deuteronomy 17 verses 16. God said, but he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt. Watch this. Watch this, family. To all the believers, watch this. Remember, why would he say in Deuteronomy 28, by the way, where if I spoke unto thee, thou shalt see no more again? Because in Deuteronomy 17:16, he said, you shall not return to Egypt. Now watch this. Deuteronomy 17:16 is before Deuteronomy 28:68. So watch this. So he said, you're not gonna go back to there. I spoke and I told y'all, thou shalt not seek no more again. And watch this. And watch, this is the most important thing in this scripture. And there. You see that word there? What does there signify? It signifies there, you are going somewhere, to a place. There. This is why you know it's not bondage. You don't go there. Bondage is not a place. So this is why the Egypt has to be a place. Let me say it again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. There in Egypt. So this already happened back in the BC era when the Assyrians came on ships, family, and took them at the Israelite port city called Dor, D-O-R. They came to the port city and the Assyrians collected the army people and took them over there. So ladies and gentlemen, this already happened. And guess what? There ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, because you went there as an army person to fight with the Assyrians against the Egyptians. So you weren't necessarily going there to be whatever, but you were on ships going into Egypt. We have proof of that. We got primary sources of that. Now let me go to 2 Kings 18:13 for a minute right here and prove something right here. Now in the 14th year of King Hezekiah did Sennacherib, king of Assyria, come up against all the fenced cities of Judah and took them. This is the Bible. Watch what happened in real life. In real life, family, this happened. The Assyrians said they took 200,000 people. If they took 200,000 people off of Judah, where are those people? There's a chapter in my book called Hezekiah, Sennacherib, and the Lost Tribes of Judah. Where did these 200,000 people go? Where did they go? Where did they go, family? I'm telling y'all. It's going to get rough for all these Jews out here, because I'm getting it busy. This is a book called Magic and Divination in Early Islam, edited by L.E. Savage Smith. It talks about, this book goes into the lot casting and all these different things that you find that they call Hebraic is actually practiced also in Islam. So the people in West Africa were conquered more by Islam. So the influence is not Hebrews, family. It's really from Islam. That's where the influence is. So when my brother Hashaya gonna come on and say, yo, when we see this in West Africa, where did it come from? It came from an Islamic influence. Don't sleep on Islam, because them niggas was crazy. I'm sorry for using the N-word today. But this book goes into the magic and divination in early Islam. So when you see them doing casting lots and doing all this Hebraic stuff that you claim, they did it in Islam too. Let's pay attention. All right. Let's get to wider. They said, oh, Garfield, we got Judah. We got tribe of Judah in West Africa. Wider. We got him. Garfield, you can't tell us. We got the tribe of Judah. My brother, Captain Tazariak, every Saturday when he's on 125th teaches it. All right. Watch this. Let's go to what the scholars say. The word is wider. But ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself this question. Could it be that they're mispronouncing a Yoruba term? The Yoruba term is Xweda, Xweda. But ladies and gentlemen, the word is really, strictly, although the town could probably be described as Hueda, Hueda. This is the indigenous word. In the font, it's called Glehu. So different languages pronounce the word different ways. So when the Europeans came in, they call it Wida or Judah. So they're calling it that, but what did the indigenous people call it? It had nothing to do with no Judah, man. These snake-ass people ain't got no Judah. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That Wida is responsible for millions of people coming over here. They weren't even from the what do you call it? They weren't even from the what do you call it? The people that came over on the slave ships weren't from Wida, and I'm gonna prove it in a minute. But let me just go through these slides real quickly so I could give you all some information. The Lemba, that the people like to talk about the Lemba so much in Tudor Parfit's great work, Black Jews in Africa and the Americas. He talks about the oral tradition of the people in Lemba as recorded. He said, this fact confirms for them what they had always said, that they were phenotypically different from their non-Lemba members. Those Lemba with whom I have discussed the results often recall the fact that they habitually refer to themselves as the white men who came from Senya. Yeah, they said that. So all those people claiming, oh, I'm Lemba. I'm Lemba. Oh, man. To my big bro, Zan Lex, always talking like he got more information than everybody else. But when he faced with the big boys, it's a different argument. Anybody who wants to claim Ashanti, it's really Asante. Asante. Shan, Ashan in the Bible is not Ashanti because the word is really not Ashanti, it's Asante. Asante. For those who don't know. And remember, you're talking about a Niger, quote unquote, Niger Congo language and an Afro-Asiatic language. Two different language. Okay? All right, watch this. This guy named Ose Agiman Prempe took a different version of the oral tradition that was written down and invented his own oral tradition and said that they came from Egypt and Israel. He changed it. So I'm not going to go too deep into that, but check out Black Jews in Africa and America because it's in the same book. All right, just to let y'all know. All right. Before 1980, the Black Jews of Africa, Edith Bruder. These are the communities that in 2008 she documented. But she also documented, with the exception of the Rusepe Jews in Zimbabwe, the Abuyedaya in Uganda, and the Lemba in South Africa, none of the African groups considered in this study identified themselves as Jews before the 1980s. It's a new thing. So when you're going to tell me West Africans are Jews, ladies and gentlemen, you need to realize this is a new thing. A new thing, ladies and gentlemen. New pon the border line. Them new pon the border line. Them new bout ya. Me say them new bout ya. I me say them new bout ya. Hey, and in the meantime, I want y'all to check out. People want to say they come from the Sumerians. I want y'all to check out how these Sumerians really look. How they look and how they seem. This is where Abraham come from. The same homosexual culture of the Sumerians who used to have sex with men. And what a matter of fact, Hammurabi used to cheat on his wife, or Zimri Lind, I think, used to cheat on his wife with another dude, and she wrote it. The primary is there. These Sumerians were some nasty ass people. I don't want to claim them at all. They used to have sex with men and women with women, and it used to be based. You know what it used to be based on? It used to be based on your horoscope. So if you're Scorpio, that's what it's based on. That means you like to sleep with men. Sometimes I wonder if most of these guys that are obsessed with Garfield are Scorpios. I don't go that way, guys. But this is what the Sumerians drew themselves and said they look like. What they look like. I didn't do this. This is what they said they look like. Not Garfield. What they said they look like. Pay attention. Not me. The primary sources. They said they look like this. So if you want to say Abraham is a real guy and he come from Sumer, this is what they look like. Okay? I'm not saying nothing. I'm not arguing with what they documented. These are the people back then. This is them right here. This is 2400 BC. I didn't draw this. They drew this themselves. Not Garfield talking. You know, I got my son when I said, this is Garfield talking. Nope. This ain't Garfield drawing. This is the Sumerians. So if you want to connect yourself to this homosexual, freaky society, go ahead and connect yourself to these dudes because they was freaky as hell. Freaky. Watch this. And of course, you know my brother Zion, he's a Scorpio. And they say Scorpio got love for men. You know, I always throw that at my brother. Because he talks so much shit on his channel, man. I tell you. Every week he got to mention God. He don't get no views if you don't mention my name. You don't get no views. If you don't mention my name, son and a name, or polite name, you don't get no views on this channel. I'm telling y'all. They're obsessed with Garfield because Garfield is the #1 guy that deal with Hebrew. I'm a specialist when it comes to this. I don't care if you disagree with me. You have to agree. Garfield is doing his things. Brother said, the Christian, thank you. Now watch this. Now they're coming out with Dan and Dahomey is the tribe of Dan is are Israelites because they say they come from a guy named Dan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is true that they do say they come from a guy named Dan. But when does this guy Dan exist? You see, this is the problem. They don't read nothing. They just want you to believe. They just want to believe. I just want to believe. I just want to believe. It's right here. Hold on. Let me find it real quick. Let me see if I can find it real quick. You know what? I don't know what I did with that slide, but forgive me. I'll bring that up in what you call it. All right. All right. A lot of people like to say Jews in Jamaica and the Sephardics are them. All right. The Jews in Jamaica own slaves, family. I'm not going to get too deep into this. All right. Billy Simons, who is a guy that they like to use and talk about Billy Simons, the Jew. The truth of the matter is nobody really knows Billy Simons as far where he comes from because he claims he's a Rechabite. There's no person I've ever heard say they're a Rechabite except for people who live in Islamic countries in North Africa. And that's a part where he said he come from. So were there any black Jews in the antebellum South? At least one is known. Billy Simons, or Uncle Billy as he's often called. Uncle Billy delivered papers for his owner at the Charleston Courier in the 1840s and 50s. He was a member of the local Hazel Street Synagogue, where in his last years, he attended services regularly, sitting among the white parishioners, despite rules to the contrary. Probably born in Madagascar, Uncle Billy claimed to be descended from the biblical Rechabite, who he said had left Judah and settled in Africa in ancient times. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Rechabites are not bloodline Israelites, by the way. Just for the record, for those who want to argue about Uncle Billy. All right? All right. Okay, here we go. The tribe of Dan. I have it right here. The book is The Wives of the Leopard. The Wives of the Leopard. This is how the name came to be. Dan. Here it is right here. An etymology for the name Dahomey was published as early as when? 1789 by Robert Norris. Dan, as in Da in Norris, was a king of Abomi defeated by Dakodunu, who then made a good threat by cutting open Dan's stomach. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember, when did Dan's stomach get cut and building his palace on the dead king's belly? So stomach, ho equals stomach, me equal in, i.e. in the stomach of Dan. The story was repeated regularly during the next 200 years, though the conquering king was sometimes said to have been Wegbaja or Akaba instead of Dakodunu, and Dan was occasionally called Agrim. False etymologies are common in Dahomean history, and the closely related term Homi, portal entrance, particularly to a palace, me in, meaning royal palace, appear in other place names, for example, Ajomi, the site of da-da-da-da. So Honey is even used to refer to the central place in Abomi. Dan Homi in the stomach of Dan could well have originated as a pun on Dan Honmi, the royal palace of Dan. So ladies and gentlemen, this was around in the 1500s, 500 years ago. It's not nothing to do with the tribe of Dan. That's the Homie family. So what happened is years upon years now, people start following. Come on, we got to do better. We got to do better. Come on. We got to do better, family. Yes, they say they come from Dan, but in what context? In what context? Oh, man. The Fon people are the largest ethnic groups in Benin and represent 40% of the total population. Fon are also found in Nigeria, So are all these people Israelites, bro? All these people here? The Fon? The Homie was a well-organized kingdom that coalesced in the 16th century, during which time it was established as a monarchy by King Takodunu, who conquered Abom in his early part of the 17th century. Historical accounts tell us of the king of the Fon who gained control of Abomi and took the throne by killing Da. So it's actually the 16th century. Look at that, in the 1500s. Come on, family. We got to do better, man. See, this is Abomi right here. This is where the tradition comes from. It don't have nothing to do with the tribe of Dan. Stop trying to force personalities and different things on different peoples. You know what I'm saying? The Fon people, like other neighboring ethnic groups in West Africa, remained an oral tradition society through late medieval era without ancient historical records. According to these oral histories and legends, the Fon people originated in present-day Tato. You see that? The Fon people originated in present-day Tato. Now look for Tato. This is where they originated according to their oral tradition. That's where the guy from Abomi conquered Dan. Come on, family. We got to do better, man. We got to do better. Israel Hill. Let's get to Israel Hill now. Israel Hill, ladies and gentlemen. Does Israel Hill have to do with the Israelites? As in black, or as in Israelites in the part? Come on, family. Let's get it together. This does mention Israelites. The #1 book on the topic is Israel under Appomattox by Melvin Ely. Let's look at what it says. Sam White, who is a black man, Master Richard Randolph, had offered a radical answer to Thomas Jefferson's moral dilemma. He denied that any dilemma existed. Randolph was not content to restore to his slaves their God-given freedom. He also called for them to receive 400 acres of his land, on which to build new lives as independent men and women. When Randolph's family carried out his will in 1810 after years of delay, his ex-slaves gave the name Israel Hill to their new home. They gave the name Israel Hill to their new home, the rolling terrain of Prince Edward County, and they called themselves Israelites in parentheses. Why did they do that? This was their what? Promised land. Because the slave master promised them the land. So they called it Israel Hill. You don't get it? You don't get it, family? To which they had been delivered out of bondage. But Israel Hill amounted to more than a personal promise fulfilled. It was a visionary southern experiment in black freedom. In building this community of free, self-supporting black landowners in the very neighborhood where the Israelites had grown up as slaves, Richard Randolph and some 90 African Americans had launched a small but audacious attempt to demonstrate that a harmonious society containing free people of what? Both races could exist. It was the first integration, first biracial society in history. Come on, family. Think about it. The first biracial society. This was Richard Randolph's, this was his vision. He wanted to see black people and white people living together in harmony. This is why they had children by the name of Hercules. They know a Hebrew name Hercules. Come on. Hebrews versus Negroes. You had this African brother. He's a professor. Alazi, I think he has a PhD or something. He wrote this book years ago. Our brothers and sisters, our Hebrew Israelite brothers like to use this book, Hebrew Exiles from Israel, Amazing Facts. Then what you see in the book is this right here, ladies and gentlemen. You see to be sold on board the ship named such and such. Find Hebrews. But ladies and gentlemen, we went to the Library of Congress and found the original. It actually said Negroes. So a person who is claiming to be a Hebrew Israelite in America photoshopped and changed this to find Hebrews instead of Negroes. This is how far these guys will go. Let's go. What are we doing? Are we playing games with people's minds for the sake of us doing it? This is nuts. All right, let me get some more work here. Let me get some more work in. I got so much work here, man. I got so much work. So much work. So much work. Hold on a second. Let me come down a little bit here. What is this? The Forgotten Diaspora. I don't want to get into that. The White Tribe. Y'all ever heard of this book, man? How they were saying that there was a white tribe in Zimbabwe and they went to go look for this white tribe because this damn scholar was lying, because they said that what they built was so high tech, it had to be, white people. The Courier and Argus, page 3. This is from August 27, 1862. You had Negro Jews. Nobody's disputing that there were black Jews in Africa. Right here. A German traveler has discovered a race of Negroes near the kingdom of Bambarda that are Jews in their religious rites and observances. Nearly every family, he says, have among them the law of Moses written on parchments. And although they speak of the prophets, they have none of them in writings. There's nothing wrong with that. The Leeds Mercury. This is on the newspaper, June 18, 1853. What's this right here? African Jews. Here's an intimation of a field, the same Bambara Jews that the guy just talked about. Jews of mixed blood. The fringe. I don't want to get into this part right here. But anyway, this is the Majorcan map showing where the Jews are in Africa and the world, actually. And if you look here, well, it's kind of hard. You see my guy right here. Who's this? Come on, family. Who this? Who this guy that the Jews put on the map? They were from the Balearic Islands. That's Mansa Musa, family. The Jews documented, because guess what? And guess what he has in his hand? Look at his hand. What is in his hand? Everybody always talk about Mansa Musa, but don't talk about what? Oh, man. I'm not even going to argue with you, the Most High Child, Shahara. I'm not even going to argue with you. Just click the link or call in. If you notice, what does Mansa Musa have in his hand and on his head? He has a gold-plated crown and gold in his hand. The Jews, the Majorcan Jews, wrote to their other Jews and said, y'all need to go inside. This is why the Jews wanted to come to West Africa. From the trans-Saharan trade, they was getting gold from Ouagadougou, the ancient Ghana kingdom. So they was always getting gold. So they were telling them, y'all need to go inside of Africa. This is why the Jews want to come to Africa. They want to get that gold. So don't feel like they come in there to say, hey, I like black people or whatever. They're coming there to trade, not to come there and live and be friend and buddy with y'all. They're coming here to get that money. All right? Just for y'all to know that. All right. Black Jews of Africa rule their life according to the Moses. All right. I'm full of documents. The guy just said, Garfield says, there's no black Jews in Africa. Let me tell you something. There's Jews everywhere. Just to let you know that. And there's converts everywhere. I think every Jew is a convert. That's just how I teach. I just don't talk about everybody all the time. But there's this guy in 1912 or 11 by the name of Lo Bagaola from 1911. And he was going around saying he's a Jew from Dahomey. And what he was doing is he was telling them that there's people in Dahomey. They got a synagogue in Dahomey. There was no synagogue in Dahomey or none of that. But he was claiming this and speaking all over the country until he confessed that he was bullshitting. He confessed and said that he was bullshitting and it was all fake. Yeah, he confessed to that. Now let's get to a guy that they like to talk about, Equiano. They love talking about Oliada Equiano. On his book, he has this picture on the left, but on the recent books that people have, they have this picture on the right. It's not the same person. Two different people. Let's look at his baptismal record for a second. Because Garfield made a charge that Equiano claims that he is an African, but he's an African American, meaning that he was born in South Carolina. So let's go to this place called the St. Margaret's Church, Westminster, and look at the primary. This is the primary of the person writing. And on the baptismal record, you will see Gustavo Vasa right here. If you see my cursor right here. Black from South Carolina, 1859. He claimed he was 1759. He claimed he was 12 years. He wasn't 12, by the way. He was probably 14, 15 at the time, just for the record. All right. At this point, questions about the place and date of Vasa's nativity first arise. The parish register of St. Margaret's Church, Westminster, records the baptism on the 9th of February, 1759 of Gustavo Vasa, a black born in Carolina, 12 years old, indicating a birth date of 1746 or 1747. During the 18th century, Carolina frequently encompassed both North and South Carolina. Vasa himself, of course, may not have been responsible for the information or misinformation regarding the place and date of his birth. Now watch this, family. In 1773, at this point, Oleada Equiano is currently a free man. He's free. The first-hand evidence of Vasa's existence we have, however, is the appearance of his name on the 6th of August in 1755. So before the baptismal record in 1759, we have him on record in 1755. So people don't study this and don't understand where Garfield is coming from. It's deeper than that. Prior to that date, not surprisingly, no documentary evidence of Vasa's existence has been found. So before 1755, we don't know where this guy is. We have him, though, on a boat. The names of Pascal and Vasa's young friend Richard Baker appear on the muster book of the roll book in the 18th and the 28th of June, 1755, respectively. The muster and pay books of the Royal Navy are very reliable as records of who were on which ships and at what time, whether members of the crew or not, because the ship's captains and pursuers had to account for all expenses incurred on board. Interestingly, although Baker is listed as Pascal's servant, Vasa is not. He's identified as servant of the captain, Matthew Whitwell. So, this stuff is deeper. Now, watch this, family. Look how deep it goes with Equiano now. Remember this boat? This boat, the source is Constantine John Phipps, A Voyage Toward the North Pole. This boat, Equiano, this is the racehorse. And this is the records of the racehorse, Admiralty Records muster books. So this is a primary source. Now, this is Equiano on this. You could barely see it in the recon. But it's right here. His name is right here. Gustavo, right here. Weston, South Carolina, 28 years old. You might say, oh, why is his name Weston? All right, watch this. Watch this. And you're going to learn today. Don't mess with Garfield. And that goes to my big brother. I'm not going to call his name today. I'm going to leave him out of this today. I'm going to give him a break today. All right. Remember, he wrote in his book, thus I went until May 1773, when I roused by the sound of frame to seek new adventures and to find towards the North Pole what our Creator never intended. We should a passage to India. An expedition was now fitting out to explore a northeast passage conducted by the Honorable John Constantine Phipps, since Lord Mulgrave in His Majesty's sloop of war, the Racehorse. So he was on the Racehorse. In his book, he's telling you, look at this. I attended him on board the Racehorse the 24th day of May, 1773. What day do you think this was? This was in 1773 on the horse. You see his name. Ladies and gentlemen, you have, everybody said, so why he didn't say he was from Africa if he was from Nigeria? Again, ladies and gentlemen, if Equiano was free, why didn't he say his name was Oleada Equiano at this time? Why did he say his name was Gustavo Weston or Gustavo Vasa or Gustavo Feston? Why did he say that? Everybody, oh, but probably he's scared to say he's African. He was free working on a ship. But guess what? The other two black people on the ship One said they come from Madagascar, one said they come from West Africa, a country in West Africa. So they were proudly Africans. Why he could have said, I'm African at that time, I'm from Igbo. Why didn't he say that? Why didn't he say, see, Jonathan Cyphax was born in Madagascar, and the other brother said he was born in Guinea, Richard York. So why didn't he come out and say, yo, I'm from Igbo land at the time? He's free. He ain't no slave no time. He ain't no slave. So ladies and gentlemen, I just proved he said he was from South Carolina. Now, he had a will in 1797. This is the primary source. This is after his book came out. His will is in the name Gustave Vassa. This is his marriage certificate to that white woman, Susanna Cullen. Right here, primary source. His name is Gustave Vassa, and his book came out before this. He could have changed his name to Equiano and marry her and call her Susanna Equiano. Why didn't he do that? Why? Oh, man, I'm not even going to get into this right here. All right. Now, I'm going to bring up something else right here. The reason why Equiano went back to England. Remember, he worked with a slave trader to develop a plantation. It's in his book, chapter 11, right here. In his book, chapter 11, he went to Mosquito Shore. He admitted it. He said, one of the things I'm scared to talk about is how I was a slave owner. He was a slave owner, family, after he was free. Remember that. Okay. What happened to Equiano, ladies and gentlemen, while he was coming back, watch this now, watch Equiano. What happened is he got hung up. The white man strung him up like a slave and was going to hang him and let him go. That's when he was running back to England. And this, by the way, this is all his travels that he traveled all over the world. And this is on Mosquito Shore. All right. Now watch this. Watch this to all the people that talk about Equiano. Equiano in his first book said, I'm from Igbo land. Remember that. Remember that. I want everybody in the chat to remember. In his first edition of his book, he said, I'm from Igbo land. The life of Oliada Equiano or Gustavus Vassa, the African. Watch this. I was born in the year 1745, situated in a charmed fruit vale named Isupk. He took Igbo out. I was born in Igbo, born in Igbo. That's what it used to say. He took it out. Let's look at another edition. The life of Equiano the African. Look at this. I was born in the year 1745 in a charming fruit vale named Isupk. Where's Igbo? He took Igbo out. Another edition. The life of Equiano or Gustave Vassa, written by himself. This is another edition. He took it out. I was born in the year 1745. He took it out. Another edition. He had 9 editions, 8 or 9 editions. He took it out. After, ladies and gentlemen, the first edition. So he no longer considered himself an Igbo. So whoever is running around saying that this guy is an Igbo, don't do it, because he denied being an Igbo after the first edition. He denied it. So how are you telling us he's an Igbo when he didn't even claim it after the first edition? All right. Let's deal with Equiano right now. By the way, did you know that he whitened his face? That they might not know me. Did you know that he whitened his face and went to court? Did y'all know that in his book? Did y'all know that? He whitened his face? Did y'all notice about Equiano? Oh, man. Watch this. Watch Equiano. I now not only felt myself quite easy with these new countrymen, but relished their society and manners. He's talking about white people. I no longer looked upon them as spirits, but as men superior to us. Remember, he's talking about white people. And therefore, I had the stronger desire to resemble them. He's talking about white people. To imbibe their spirit and imitate their manners. I therefore embrace every occasion of improvement, and every new thing that I observe, I treasured up in my memory. From his book, 1789 edition, page 56. His book. He wanted to be white. He wanted to be a white man. Oh, man, I love you, Equiano. I love what you did for me, but come on, let's keep it real for a minute. All right, so we finished with Equiano for a minute. Let's get off of Equiano. And let's deal with, what is this? Equiano. We're still on Equiano. All right. So these Hebrews talk about Wida or Judah or Ex-Wada or whatever. Don't understand nothing about the area. Look at the population numbers look at the numbers that went slavery on this coast. You see this coast right here? This is the slave coast that the Wida people used to bring people to. The Wida people used to go to Alada, Abomi. They used to get from the Oyo Kingdom, Yoruba people, Grandpopo. They used to get slaves from all these people here. And this used to be the docking area for a lot of the slaves. 1.85 million people. 1.85 million people. Here we go. This is where the slaves came from. And most of them, so the white, if you look at the population of Wida could not produce 1.85 million people because they were themselves slave raiders. You see the population, 8,000, 2,000, 6,000, 20,000, 10,000, whatever. Remember, Wida was taken over in 1727 by the Dahomey Kingdom. They were taken over. And what we need to understand is that there was a rule in the Dahomey Kingdom that you can't enslave residents of the Dahomey Kingdom. It was a rule. It was a law. But before that, them Wida people were slave raiding and taking people all over the place. It's just a fact. So they weren't even slaves themselves. So when they say that Wida, we're from Wida, they weren't slaves. So how are you going to say that we from the Wida people when the Wida people weren't slaves? From the census, the following numbers of re-captives from the Bight of Benin were found. Popos, Yoruba, Nupe, Benin, Hausa. You don't see no Wida people, because the people who are being enslaved are taken from the Dahomey Kingdom, from Wida, and then later from the Dahomey Kingdom. All right? But I'll talk about that in detail another time. And this is they had archaeology in excavations in Dahomey. There's a lot of archaeology there. And this is what their worship place looked like. Because they worship the snake god. Oh, well, as Israelites, we didn't worship. We worship everything. Hebrewisms of West Africa. We go into the whole linguistics and all the claims that's made in this book. I don't want to do that right now. It's too boring to do that. But I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to leave that one alone. All right. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. Another tradition of Torah
hold on, Brother Garfield,
reveals that the Jewish population is so ancient that they are considered the earliest white inhabitants of the area. All right,
Brother Garfield.
Yes, sir. I'm ready for questions if people want to call in. I'm ready.
You got Mikael calling you out like, yo, what's going on, brother?
You know what happened with Mikael, bro. Stop playing games.
He's saying you ran. He's trying to say you ran, brother.
He's the first person that I had Hebrews calling me. Please don't debate him, man. He's a good brother. They was begging me. They was begging me. Please don't debate him. Don't debate him, man. But anyway, if he wants to call in now, he could call in. Let's go.
There it is, Mikael.
Right now, let's get it in.
Come on, let's go.
Or get the link.
Like Proud Family, let's get it in. Call-ins now.
Mikael, get the link right now.
All call-ins are mandatory.
You want to talk shit in the chat? Let's go.
There you go, Garfield. Call him out. Call Mikael ass out.
Let's go, family.
All call-outs are mandatory, Mikael. Come on, man. Call it in. Hey, Garfield, while we waiting on that, what do you think Malik Zulu Shabazz, because next Saturday is on and popping, what do he need to do to win this debate?
Basically, he has to show the importance of Africa. And the importance of Africa, people might not realize this, is that the coffee that you drink is because of Africa. The coffee beans come from North Africa. There's certain oil that fits certain things in America that they trade, that they get it from. And basically, there's a lot of things that survives as Americans within this country that you can't do without because of Africa. So what he has to show is the dependence on Africa. But what that guy is going to do on the other side, he's going to show the Africans doing all type of freaky shit that would blow people's minds. But you see, you can't fit all Africans as one. And that's what Dr. Malik Zula Shabazz, brother Malik Zula Shabazz, got to do, is show us why Africa is important for us as a future. If he's coming from a Pan-African point of view, he could beat it up. He could beat it up. But it's both sides. I know where Captain. I was watching Polite's debate with him the other day, and I know where he's gonna go. He's gonna show the nasty stuff in Africa that might gross people out.
But you know what? I think Captain Tazariak have grown from that. I think he really grown.
Nah, you saw that debate with Jabari, what he did. Please.
All right. Peace and Black Power family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, sir. This is Apostle, man.
All right, Apostle. What's going on, man?
Yeah, man. I didn't catch it at the beginning, man. What happened to Yasha?
Yasha, tell him what happened. Garfield, did he run? What happened?
He wanted the rules just for himself. He didn't want to follow the rules. You know, he wanted to do his own thing. What channel are you on, by the way?
I'm on HOK.
Oh, you're on HOK. Okay.
Yeah, Yasha wanted.
So Yasha didn't show up?
No, he showed up. He showed up live. Listen. He showed up live on the program, but he wanted 15 minutes instead of 3 10-minute rounds. I told him, I will give you 2 15-minute rounds or 3 10-minute rounds, which is the same time. I don't know if he knew the math, but he said, no, I want 15 minutes. I'm like, nah, brother.
He wanted three 15 minutes, so he wanted 45 minutes.
Yeah, but that's come on, man. Short attention span.
Yeah.
We want to keep our people engaged
That's
and
for
going
sure.
back and forth. And so because he couldn't get the 15 minutes, he ran off the channel in front of everybody, brother. Come on, y'all Hebrews are looking bad, brother.
Wow. Nah. You can't lump us all in that thing, man.
I can lump y'all all in because let me show you how I can lump you all in. Whenever something go down, all y'all motherfuckers run together and act like y'all together. Don't they, Garfield?
Yes, sir.
So now all of a sudden, when one of y'all look bad, now is, oh nah.
What he believe. But see, Garfield need to go get the book called The Expulsion of the Black or the Negro Hebrew from Portugal and Spain. That was written in the 1500s and revised in the 1700s. The book was written by Icgjc.
Yeah, I see Tamika already is saying no cowards coming up in this show. She's saying no cowards. So the link is there. No cowards. All right, we want to welcome Mikael. Mikael is in the building. He is here, I guess, to defend his name and honor. And we want to pass the mic over to Mikael. You got the floor, Mikael. Unmute yourself. You got the floor.
Yeah. Shalom. Can y'all hear me?
Shalom.
Yeah, man. I'd like to say, first of all, man, it's funny. I'm actually smirking. I'm laughing. You know, it take a lot to get me to come out, Jeff. I hear stuff all the time.
Come on, gangster.
I'm going to say this. Even though you got Garfield in your panel, and Garfield know how me and him is, Jeff. You know what I'm saying? I don't even respond to none of that. I was responding. I looked at Garfield. I said, okay, all right, he doing his thing, whatever. But even with the history me and Garfield get, as disrespectful as that man has been to me before.
But let me say this to you real quick, Mikael.
Let me finish, bro. Don't cut my.
No, I want to say something. It's in your best interest. It's really in your best interest. It's going to be like a minute, and I'm going to pass it right back to you. What I want to say to you is be very, very careful what you say or challenge Apostle on. He is definitely powerful when it comes to the scriptures. He understands it. So be careful. He ain't get an elder being a fool. Okay? All right. So you got the floor, brother.
Oh, man, that was cute. Yeah, I appreciate that. To be quite honest with you, I'm going to say this. As much distaste as I got for Garfield, you know what I'm saying? I respect him way more than I respect the Apostle. Because Garfield, yes, I really mean that. And I can't stand Garfield sometimes. But I'm going to keep it 100. I respect
Garfield put in that work, boy.
I respect him way more because he's actually digging in these books. What have Apostle digged in besides commentary? How you gonna get out here and try to debate brothers about a language when you don't know the language? Like the brother asked you, if I say I grew up around Hebrews that I listen to them, the second language is English. Their first language is modern or classic Hebrew. And these brothers talking on the phone like, man, we finna go to the club, we about to go to the store. That brother can't even say I farted in Hebrew. He gotta Google it. And you're gonna argue somebody about what a Hebrew word say. So he's silly in the first place. So I'm gonna get to Garfield later. I'm gonna get to Garfield later because I will give Garfield the respect to say that he earned where he at. But he already know. Garfield, you know, boy, you admitted it publicly plenty of times. Before you blew up this big, brother, you admitted plenty of times that I created you. So I'm your daddy because you the monster.
Garfield, is that true?
And I'm finna tell you why. And you know we got receipts. Hold up, Garfield. Hold up, Garfield. You know we got receipts for it, as the youngsters say today. We got receipts. Debate talk for you. I heard you admit it more than one time when I cut you up so bad, you dug into the Hebrew and to the Israelite thing. And then I felt bad because you became a terminator on my community. So I guess I'm going to have to destroy you. I'm the only one. I'm the chosen. So look, now hold up, Garfield. We'll talk about that later. But let me deal with this cat Apostle, man. Let me tell you something, bro.
This cat. Go ahead, bro.
I'm gonna talk to you as a man. See, I ain't gonna do what you just did. When we talked last night, brother, I specifically told you, I pulled them two scriptures and you just pulled them. I specifically told you, bro, this was no attack on you, but you was dealing the way you was dealing. But since you want to go there,
Mikhail, hold on 1 second. Since this is my show today, man, can you and Apostle do this after the show, bro? Let me get these callers in that want to talk to me about it.
Okay.
And I want to thank you so you could end the terminate. All right?
I will.
Hey, Mikhail.
Hey, Garfield, can I at least leave with a respectful response?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. This is what I want to say about this brother Apostle. Bro, I always support my Hebrew Israelite brothers. Like any brother that know me from my debate days, whether it was Debate Talk for You or that old foreign one from the UK, what was it? Whatever that was.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Where Black Jesus came from, right? I gave him his first L. I beat him down there 2 years ago. And then hold up, watch this. And then you come over here, I went to Solar Vision. I got a championship on that one. So now we here, right? So here's the thing though, right? Garfield, I knew where you was coming from, but let me tell you something, Apostle. My policy used to be I would not debate Hebrews. And this the reason why. But I'm telling you, bro, if you keep it up, you're going to get yourself in some trouble, Joe. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I seen you, because you up here calling yourself an apostle and an elder, bro, when you ain't sat at the foot at no teacher. Name what teachers you sat at in the Hebrew Israelite community. No, just listen, bro. And that's another thing.
I can tell you what teacher.
Bro, would you listen?
Tell you what teacher.
For you to have that
you asked me
bro,
what teacher.
Bro, let me finish.
What teacher?
Finish. Listen to what I'm saying. For you to have that age, bro.
Hold on, Apostle, just let him finish and then he gonna let you answer. Yeah. Just let him go.
Okay.
Bro, what I'm telling you is for you to have that age, I've heard you on Sinetta's show before say when you came in the truth. I think you said something like 3, 4, 5 years. Dude, I've been in the truth for 26 years and I'm half your age.
I think I heard you yesterday, Mikhail said, Mikhail, I think I heard you yesterday say on the show yesterday that Sonetta was beating him up over there. Is that what you said?
Well, that's what I'm going to be honest with you, bro. It was embarrassing to the Hebrew Israelite community how Sonetta set you up in a trap. And I see the trap come. when I hear him ask the question, I'm like, oh, I hope this brother don't fall for that. He got you to the point. No, I'm serious. He got you to the point, bro, where he had you saying Satan wrote parts of the Bible. Do you know how spiritually retarded and remedial that is, bro? You could never sit with me or any elder because I had to sit at the foot of an elder. Listen, I had to sit.
Hold on 1 second.
I'm sorry, Garfield. I'm sorry, Garfield. I'm gonna leave, bro. I'm gonna leave, Garfield.
Let both of them get it in, man. Set it up for them tomorrow, so.
Yeah. All right,
bro, I'm not.
man.
No. Yeah. This brother ain't, bro. Garfield, I'd rather debate you because you ran from me twice. At least you did that.
Well, hey, Mikael.
Think about it. But listen to what I'm saying.
I'm rolling with Apostle on this one.
Hold on.
I'm not running from you.
Call me out right now.
Garfield, this brother ain't even on your level. This brother ain't on nobody level.
So we can get it in. Call me out right now.
I'm gonna let you know. I'm rolling with Apostle versus Mikael. I'm going with Apostle.
You say what?
I'm going with Apostle. I'm going with Apostle. I'm going with Apostle against you. I'm rolling with Apostle. He know the scriptures. I think he know it a lot better than you, Mikael.
That don't work on me, son. That don't work on me, bro. That don't work on me, bro.
Well, first of all, Mikael, I never said Satan wrote the Bible. As a matter of fact,
yes, you did. Yes, you did. I got it recorded.
No.
Yes, you did.
Did I say that?
All right, we got to go. Garfield said he want to get this thing done.
I never said
all right,
Satan
shalom,
wrote
y'all.
the Bible.
All right, peace. Shalom.
Nobody wrote the Bible.
All right, Apostle, we got to move forward, brother.
You see that shit?
Yeah, we got to move forward. I see it. They ain't ready for you, Apostle. I'm rolling with you, Apostle.
Did I say Satan wrote the Bible?
Apostle, listen to me. I'm rolling with you against any of them dudes out there because I know, except for Captain Tazariak or Isupk, but any other group, I'm rolling with Apostle. Fuck all the bullshit. Fuck that. Yeah. Apostle know his shit.
Shut it up.
All right, so thank you for calling in. Yeah. Oh, and another one, except for Nepal. If you go against Nepal, that's a loss. If you go against Captain, that's a loss. So stay within your ranks, my brother.
I can handle that. I can take
there
that.
You go. Okay.
Garfield, look up Icgjc. Okay. Eyewitness testimony about the Sephardic Jews of Portugal.
Okay.
Check him out.
All right. We got to get these callers. Thank you, brother. All right, let's get these callers in. What do you think, Garfield? Are you rolling with Mikael over Apostle?
I think it's crazy that you got two Hebrews call in and ain't none say they ain't got no smoke for me. And it's amazing.
Brother, you know why they ain't got no smoke for you, bro. Peace and Black Power family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What up? This is Yasha in Israel.
Oh, shit. Road runner in the building. What's going on, Yasha?
We just gonna play a good game like men and play it right.
What's up, Yasha?
You know, Garfield talked about he harped on the Babylonian, what we call the Babylonian captivity. He harped on that, and he said those people were the real Israelites, and that's basically where he was standing at. Okay, but the problem with that is when you look at the Babylonian and Assyrian reliefs. Okay, when you look at them, the chiefs of Lachish, and you can see them in the golden age of the Moors and the African origins of civilization. In those books, you'll see the Battle of Lachish. You'll see that the Israelites depicted on there were a black people. Okay,
well, brother, that's not a good look right now.
He don't talk about
because you had an opportunity to challenge him on that, but now you're calling in. That don't. But
he didn't. He didn't talk about the Persian captivity, which came much after that. He made Babylonian captivity, and the Bible itself even continues on much further than that. So this whole thing about these white Jews, and they started out white Pharisees and stuff like that, what he failed to realize is that the J1, the J2, the RB1, and all are subclass of the EV38 Heplo groups. and those are none other than the small branches of the E1B1A group.
Do you have a question?
They're the E1B1A groups, and they all are in Africa today.
Do you have a question, Brother Yasha?
Yeah. So how when you my question is, how do the saga stops right there in Babylon when Jewish DNA is fluttered all throughout Africa and pretty much all throughout Western Africa?
Good question. Good question, Garfield.
First of all, what is Jewish? What is a Jewish DNA? Nothing that doesn't even exist. What is a Jewish DNA?
The Jewish DNA is J1, B1, R1B, EV38 and is E1B1. Is E1B1A, is E3, and is EV3. They all are Jewish DNAs. They all are part of the EV38 haplogroup. And they are all in Western Africa.
Sonetta, there is no such thing as a Jewish DNA. That what the brother is saying is totally flawed. It's faulty. It's false. And the problem is, say for example, he said J1. I used to teach that the people who in Canaan have the J marker, and they're the people that were found in that area at the time. They had the J marker, so that means their descendants would have the same marker. So what he did was, he just said that E3B, all these things come from EV38. What I'm going to say to is, EV38 roots, it goes back 42,000 years. 42,000 years ago, there's no such thing as a Jew, as an Israelite, as Abraham or anybody. So what is he talking about? You can't give Jews a DNA when the DNA existed way before them. That's totally incorrect, and incorrect methodology and logic. So what we have to do is, we have to find the people who are practicing the culture, and then find all the people all over the world practicing the culture. This is why they started saying the J marker is the Jewish marker. But they were saying that because the people who practice the culture in history, they found people in the culture with the same markers in the Fustat area, in the Babylonian area, in all these areas. So my thing is, Sonetta, if the people went into Babylon and they continued to live there for 2,500 years, wouldn't those people be somebody you would get DNA from? See if you identify with those people were the Judeans. So if you identify with those people, you could say, hey, you know what? We are correlated or whatever. But the point is, there's no such thing as a Jewish DNA. No such thing. So that premise is totally incorrect.
I want to finish with this and I'm done. That's not true. I think he's done. I'm done. That's not true. There's government websites about DNA. You can go to ncb1 .nlm.gov, and you can go to mfa.gov, and they verify that the J markers are subclass of the the E1B1A markers, and that is a fact. You can go, anybody can, that's under the sound of my voice, that's what I was going to prove, and I will be proving it.
Okay. Peace. All right. Peace and love.
What a scrub.
All right, next caller.
Yo, can I be heard? I don't think I can be heard.
All right, yeah, we hear you.
All right, yeah, hey, Garfield, man, this is Chris, man. Great job tonight, man. I really tuned in to see a debate, but unfortunately, the Roadrunner got on his high heels and ran up out of the debate, negotiated himself right out of a debate like I thought he would. But the funny thing to me is, why is he calling up here challenging you when he had at least an hour and a half to do so prior to the debate? What is he calling up here for? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, man, I just want to say good job on that. I really wanted you to get into the Portuguese conversion and how they came into North Africa, Central Africa, and West Africa, converting Africans into their culture and the raping that they did, and how that 400-year oral history became traditional in some West African cultures. And this is where they're getting a lot of the misinformation from, not understanding the conversion period or the Lakado Jews, etc.
Hey, Chris Harris, before you go, let me ask you this, brother. I gotta ask you this because it's like you have become a pit bull. Whenever you hear a Hebrew on the scene, it's like you got that nose for an Israelite, brother. Is this a natural hatred that you have developed for an Israelite?
No, there's a lot of misinformation being pushed by I go against misinformation such as Chief X, who I called out on the ancient Egyptians or people of Mary being not African. I called him out on the pseudo killers on that. I was willing to deal with him on that. The thing I teach is that our history is very important to me. You understand what I'm saying? And our history should be treated and put in a certain box that shouldn't be uncovered. A lot of the history we do get is from a Eurocentric perspective. And the Bible does represent Eurocentrism. It does. Because it's a King James version. It's not an African version. It's a King James version. And in this version, it allows for these goat herders to run up into Africa and do whatever they want. It allows their God to destroy one of our most ancient civilizations, albeit it wasn't even the oldest civilization. Remember, guys, Egypt was a baby on the Nile compared to Nubia and Ethiopia. It was a baby on the Nile compared to how old those civilizations were. And I was willing to come forth and debate Chief X, teach the audience, because it was not going to be a debate about where the Egyptians came from. History of that entire culture. I understand the anthropological evidence that they left behind. So I was willing to get into it, but nah, the Hebrews, they full of shit. And me and Garfield both agree with that, but they full of shit. Hey, you know where Garfield know where I'm about to get him at pretty soon. No, I'm tired of him teaching his Jesus is a historical character now, Garfield. Me and you got a date with destiny on that one. I'm getting tired of hearing it now, Garfield.
All right,
you don't have to talk about this one, beloved.
Hey, so what can we look forward to in the near future? Let's say by next week or in 2 weeks, you and Pastor Bennett finally getting in the ring, brother.